Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Wednesday, May 11th, and this is the MLB DFS video for today. So in today's video, we're going to take a quick look back at yesterday's picks, see how they turned out, talk about my core plays for today for the FanDuel main slate. It is the 7-game main slate overall, and then talk about my top stacks from my article over at WeBetATS.com. But without further ado, we'll get started with a recap of yesterday's picks. So at the pitcher position, we have Martin Perez, a guy that I said was going to be a sleeper play, $8,300, got us 44 points. He was a hit in the 4th overall pitcher on the slate, and he came in at a solid 1.3% ownership in most of the contests that I was in yesterday. So sub 2% ownership plus a very good play overall. Then at first base, we have Pete Alonso, $3,800, got to 15.2, so he was a hit as well. Second base / shortstop, depending on which position you actually ended up playing him at, Marcus Semien, $3,000, had decent history versus Brad Keller in the past. Unfortunately, he got 0 points yesterday. He was a miss and went 0 for 4 overall. And then at third base or outfield, just depending on where you played him, $2,500, J.D. Davis got to 12.7 points. He was a hit as well. And then last but not least, we had Jurickson Profar, $3,000. You could play him at second base. You could play him at outfield as well, 9.2 points. So he was a hit overall. So 4 out of 5 on the day in terms of hits. The lone miss that we did have was Marcus Semien, who's kind of been up and down so far this season. So there was a little bit of risk there with him. If you went with some other good plays, you probably end up cashing. Gene Segura was somebody that I liked yesterday. I think I mentioned that in the video too. Ended up hitting a home run towards the end of the game and put my lineups over the top. So hopefully you guys had exposure to him as well. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to the core picks for today's slate. So we're going to start off with pitcher Ian Anderson, $8,100. Yes, he's only averaging 23.4 fantasy points per game on the season. There were some bad games there to start the year, but he's been pitching better as of late. Has decent history versus this Boston Red Sox team, although it is limited history overall. I do like the upside of him, especially at $8,100. That's even cheaper than Martin Perez that we had yesterday. And he's probably a better pitcher than Martin Perez. The matchup might not be quite as nice as Kansas City, but still pretty good overall, and I'm willing to take that chance today. There's a little bit of worry just because the Boston Red Sox bats kind of came alive yesterday, but it's a couple big hits, and Kyle Wright just did not have good stuff yesterday. First base, we're going right back to Pete Alonso. $3,900 going against Aaron Sanchez of the Washington Nationals today. And oddly enough, he has no history versus Aaron Sanchez. So we kind of know what Aaron Sanchez is at this point in his career. Sadly, injuries really derailed his career. Nothing that I'm afraid of. So Pete Alonso going right back to him today. No problems there. At second base, we got Jose Altuve, $3,400. Been hitting the ball pretty well since coming back off the IL. He is 5 for 21 with 1 home run versus Chris Archer in his career. That's obviously the pitcher for the Twins today. I do like that upside. And, Chris Archer's not anybody that's going to scare you. He pitched a little bit better than we thought he would this year, but he's not pitching deep in the games either way, so you're going to get into that Twins bullpen as well. And then we move down to third base / shortstop Kevin Smith, $2,200, averaging about 6 fantasy points per game. Goes against the Detroit Tigers. I believe it's Joey Wentz making his MLB debut today. Kevin Smith's been hitting the ball a little bit better, seeing the ball a little bit better. I like the upside there and a paydown spot at $2,200. Not somebody you have to play, but just somebody that I like putting in there, especially as a paydown option today. Then last but not least, we have outfielder Harrison Bader, $3,300, and he's been on a tear as of late. So he's got 20 points in 3 out of his last 4 games. He's got a hit in 7 out of his last 10 games overall. Goes against Spencer Watkins and the Baltimore Orioles today. Could be a favorable matchup for him, although he has never faced him in his career before. Usually favors the pitcher, but I think in this case probably favoring Harrison Bader, a guy that's really seeing the ball well and really producing, and especially in the last 10 days or so. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here, you'll have $14,100 remaining, just over $3,500. So you definitely have opportunities to pay up for some players, pay down for some players. Take some time out of your day, go through my cheat sheet, find the players that you do like, find some guys from the top stacks that you do like. Maybe if they're not even in the cheat sheet, that's definitely okay as well. But with that being said, we're going to get over to my cheat sheet over at WeBetATS.com and talk about the top stacks for today. So the first one we have is the Astros going against Chris Archer. Talked a little bit about it with Jose Altuve. Chris Archer's not a guy to be afraid of at this point in time, although he's pitched slightly better than we expected, but not pitching deep into games like I already mentioned, so you're going to get into that bullpen as well, especially if you can get on Chris Archer early on in the game. And then we have the Cardinals going against Spencer Watkins and the Baltimore Orioles. Obviously, they're a very young pitcher, a left-handed pitcher. Cardinals putting some right-handed bats in their lineup. They're a team that's going to be able to take advantage of that overall, or at least they should be able to. Didn't have the best game yesterday, trying to bounce back today and trying to do it with some authority. And then we move over to the Mets going against Aaron Sanchez. Already mentioned Aaron Sanchez hasn't done too much as of late, doesn't pitch deep into games anymore, has had the injury history, so there's a lot of things that could favor the Mets in this game overall today. And then last but not least, we got the Oakland A's. Mentioned they're going against Wentz of the Detroit Tigers, left-handed pitcher. Stacking some of these A's bats at a little bit of a discount could be something of interest today if you need to kind of fill out your roster. I'm not going out of my way completely to stack a bunch of A's hitters. I'm not putting 3 or 4 in my lineup, but if I want to put like 1 or 2 to get some value in there, definitely open to doing that on tonight's slate. But with that being said, these are my core picks as well as top GPP stacks for today, May 11th. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite play on tonight's slate, whether it's someone from my core 5, whether it's someone from my top GPP stacks, or a completely different player that you guys think I missed. Definitely interested in hearing what you have to say. But with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports. And that's one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS, whether it's MLB or USFL. Those are the 2 main ones at this point in time. Once we get back around to the regular season for the NFL and the NBA, we'll be covering that as well. And then with that being said, if you are newer current subscribers yet to do so, also be sure to hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up daily MLB DFS videos just like this. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.